Hello and welcome to Carbitrage Podcast, episode 86. I am Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sinitsky. Hi,
Hello,
sir.
hello there.
How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic.
How was your Noodles and Company macaroons?
It had an adequate amount of cheese jizz in it, which is a good thing.
That is good. I feel like usually they really skimp on the jizz.
Well, like when you get it, like when you get to go, you get home and you open it up, it's just like this congealed brick of macaroni and like solidified cheese.
I don't wear UGG boots, so I don't go to that store. But
Well, that's how it usually is because they don't put enough of the cheese jizz in there, and then the cheese just solidifies. But this has all the milky stuff, and then now it's perfect.
well, I'm glad that it was excellent.
It was really good. I was really happy.
Do you have beer in your Noodles and Company cup?
Sure, why not? It's Dr. Pepper cherry.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. Good call. And before I forget, I'm actually going to go to this scene so people can actually see us. We have two guests today.
What's up?
Yeah.
Start with you, Derek. Tell us your name, and then what do you drive, and then we'll go on to the standard questions.
All right. Well, I'm Derek Chan.
Hello, Derek Chan.
I don't know what I drive. Shoot.
What'd you drive here?
I drove the wife's Tesla here.
He forgot. It's electric. He forgot.
Yeah.
What else do you own?
We have a diesel X5. We've got an Exige. We've got a couple E90s.
wow, okay.
Fun cars.
That's actually a pretty cool collection of cars.
Exciting stuff.
Yep, and you
Yeah.
also raced that their Corvette a couple of times, don't you?
Yeah. Matt was kind enough to let me drive the Corvette a couple times.
Very
and then,
fine.
Race the Miata and some other stuff in endurance racing. Yeah.
Racing Miata,
You're kinda
what
like-
an honor.
You're kind of like Burger, where you don't get a Tesla because you want to be good for the environment. You're getting it because it offsets your carbon footprint. And
Yes.
it's
No, 'cause it's
reasonable
fast.
to drive and fun. Yes.
It's a decent car. It really is.
No, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really
The Model
cool.
3 drives pretty well, especially the rear-wheel drive one, which yours is, right?
It is. Yeah. It's like the stripper Model 3.
Well, it was
Perfect.
until yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
Now I guess I have to go get another one.
No. See, now you've got
Now you've just got like the
Now
mid.
I've got like the nice one.
you got a mid-range
yeah,
model
you got
now.
the mid-range one, the one that's not collectible.
And then before we go on to the actual user questions, hi Nolan.
Hi. How's
So,
it going?
Well, how are you and who are you?
I'm Nolan.
Hi Nolan.
I know.
I don't have an electric car.
That's okay. I don't
That's-
either.
Awesome.
That's why we put you guys on that side of the table. You guys can talk about like pre-war stuff and before light bulbs were a thing and like dial-up.
You know, it was actually
Gotta be
I
pretty
was
good.
going through the Arm Sotheby's, or no, actually it's the Bonhams auction catalog from Amelia Island. They had this really, really cool Pope that was for sale, and it had a single acetylene lamp. It was considered to be one of the first sports cars ever sold in America.
I waited to use the bell, but it was coming. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to hop back to you then. We've kind of gone over what you drive. Oh, jeez. I forgot my laptop again, everyone, so I have to actually look up at the screen, which makes me kind of feel poverty. All right, first standard question. Would you prefer a drive, given two options, and only two options, there's no way around this, driving a fast car in a slow manner or driving a slow car in a fast manner?
Slow car, fast manner, all day, every day.
There you
That
go.
is the
That's
correct
that's the
answer.
yeah, you're not kicked off. That's good.
All right.
What about you, Nolan?
I didn't know that there was a question.
Yes.
Slow car fast.
Yeah, that is a
That's
question.
that's
Well, I mean,
I think it's more of a statement.
It's an obvious thing.
Yeah.
But like we have to weed out the people that
We had one guest
Yeah.
thus far that said fast car slow, and we berated him until he changed his answer and threatened to kick him off the podcast.
Looking at
if
you,
otherwise
Tyler.
did not happen. Yeah, it was Tyler from Minnesota Cars and Coffee. So
Good. Yeah.
All right, perfect. You guys both passed the first one. All right. So, you guys are both based in Minnesota, right?
Sure.
Unfortunately.
Hey.
I like
bad.
this
All
guy.
this-
no,
All these-
I,
are you guys
I
all
concur
Minnesota
right now.
natives?
I concur.
No,
Yes.
not at all.
I am,
shoot.
but I concur.
I am not.
I know exactly what you mean because I just had to dig my car out of 3 feet of snow after I dug my driveway out of 3 feet of snow yesterday, and I had to dig it out again.
Terrible.
It's
Just-
awful.
Just
Yeah.
drive through it. Then take your David Blowie and just
I-
ramrod it.
I don't have a David Blowie.
Well, you
and
should get a freaking David Blowie.
I want to get one.
It's
I
amazing.
actually said that to Jana yesterday. I really want to get a snowblower so I can give it like a Bosuzoku paint job and like a giant Takayama
Oh,
pipe.
the sweet exhaust and do
Yeah.
a sweet intake and like paint it 80s colors and
Yeah,
shit.
it would be hilarious. And like a bunch of lights. It'd be so obnoxious because I get home at like 11 o'clock at night. It'd be
Yes.
super loud.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
when I get a fancy snowblower next year, I'll give you David Blowie and you can mod that one.
Excellent.
Okay, so you're based in Minnesota. Nolan, you're not in the Twin Cities most of the time, are you?
No, I split the difference. I'm in Rochester part of the time. I'm in Minneapolis part of the time, and I'm in Chanhassen. Is that a place?
Right
Yeah,
now.
that's a place
That's
right
right
now.
now.
Yeah.
On Saturdays. So yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All Saturdays. How
all-
convenient. So are we.
You got a Lamborghini. I'm here. I'm just staring at the paint and just loving it. Every bit of
Jenna
it.
Jameson's Lamborghini.
Formerly.
Oh,
Formerly.
hand job. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would have been a good license
That would have been the
plate.
best
Oh
license
my
plate.
God! Why do you not get?
Because
H
we
That's
got
what my wife
bullshift.
came up with.
That's pretty good.
Bullshift is good.
I don't know.
I can't believe he actually got that.
I know. I'm
amazing.
I'm super stoked to like put
If-
that on there and like
if they-
de-ghetto it.
If they revoke that, you gotta get H job.
Oh, it'll be fine.
There's lots
Also-
of them. Deep V, famous V.
We did have an entire fairly drunk evening here going over license plate ideas for the Murcielago after it arrived. So, Nolan, as far as like car community and events, do you do anything in the RMN community or just all Twin
No,
Cities?
just Twin Cities stuff. There's nothing in RMN that
Okay.
I found. There's a couple car shows. I mean, if you want to see muscle cars and the typical stuff.
A lot of
that
Harley
people are-
Davidsons.
Oh
That's
dying,
God! Could I
excited
really?
about.
I was really just thinking to myself this morning. The thing I really want to see is a '70 Chevelle, not an SS, with the small V8, and I want to have some like really awful Boyd Coddington wheels on it. I would just love to see that. That's what gets my rocks off.
It's rough.
All right, so Ryan looks for the worst possible example of something.
Yeah.
So, Derek, do you do car meets or do you just do track stuff?
Mostly just track stuff.
Okay.
I've honestly never really been to car meets.
Okay.
You should go to Cars and Crafts by Drive.
Oh,
yeah,
that
Drive
you
Club.
probably actually would dig that
Yeah.
event.
Yeah?
It's really small. It's like in this old. It almost looks like an old flour mill.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like surrounded on all sides by like old, crippled, dilapidated stone buildings.
Do you know where Flat Earth Brewing is in St. Paul?
No, but I'm sure I can Google it.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's Drive
It's just
Cartel
in East
does
St.
it, and
Paul,
it's like
but yeah, very
I-
small, very exclusive,
I have-
but
I
right in the
was-
middle of a brewery. Which
actually when I was at Monterey Car Week, I was like talking to a lot of people from California. I'm like, no, like the best show I have been to, including these shows, is Cars and Crafts.
well,
Like,
technically the best show is when we don't divulge, and it's in St. Paul somewhere.
that's true.
Okay. Okay, so
Well, I'm also not saying when it is.
the best public
correct.
show.
The best public show is Cars and Craft, absolutely. But even that's kind of exclusive because you have to ask ahead of time and get permission to
We
be in it.
want to keep the riffraff out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't work. I get in once in a while. So, but anyway, okay. So as far as track stuff, do you only do wheel to wheel, or do you also just go up and have fun with
Oh,
like
no,
HPDs and track
yeah,
days and
we,
stuff,
uh,
autocross?
Yeah. I haven't done much autocrossing just because of the whole ordeal of spending the whole day out in the parking lot just to get 2 minutes of driving in.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of
is kinda what it
HPD, and trucked up at the Brainerd School.
Okay.
So get to sneak a lot of track time in that way.
Nice.
Other than that, a lot of wheel to wheel stuff. Just
Did not
any
know
dri-
you were an instructor at the Brainerd School.
You just need like you need to be breathing and have a pulse to
Well, I
construct
know.
out there. And so it's not that big of an achievement, but
Still.
any sort of driving is fun.
Track time.
Congratulations, you can fog a mirror.
Exactly.
Fair enough. Does Mike Wagner still do that school or no?
Yeah, he's still up there.
Okay, perfect. I like him. Him and his weird racing simulators that cost way too much. I actually ran into him at Micro Center last week. He was buying a bunch of RTX 2080s for his builds. I'm like, you are a weird looking combo right here.
He builds those sim rigs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Right on.
he was going over with me. Like he used to run 3 4K displays and he had them stitched in iRacing or whatever. And now he's just going to a single giant curved monitor, which is 4K, and he's having much better luck with that because apparently a lot of the people he builds sims for would like turn on the computer and then turn on the displays, and apparently he's explicitly told them not to do that because like iRacing loses sync, so they're all in the wrong order and stuff, and it's just a nightmare to fix it. So he's dumbing it down by going to a single larger display, but he wants better frame rate on that single display, so he was upgrading graphics cards. But I digress. That's probably not
So we
terribly
tune in
relevant.
here. We're at the car podcast.
Yeah,
We talk about a lot of other things.
Yeah.
It's driving. It's driving.
it's a racing game.
That graphics card is driving that display just fine, Nolan.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah, come
Blew
at
my
me
mind.
now, bro.
I really I've been wanting to do this since like high school, but I really want to find like a 88 through 2000 Honda Civic that's been in a front end collision, so you can cut the front end off, put like a 50-inch television right where the windshield
Okay.
is, and put like one
I'm
of the
in.
racing wheels where the steering wheel goes, the pedal box where the pedals go, and the shifter with like, in the shift boot, and then actually make that into like a gaming rig. I think it'd be
That's
cool.
not where I thought
That'd
you
be
were going
sweet.
with this. I thought you were gonna like, how Honda they added those little cameras to the bottoms of the side view mirrors a couple years ago. I thought you were just gonna like replace the inside of the windshield with a curved TV and then put a camera on the outside and like just use that to drive.
around.
I don't know, Ryan, which is why I was
No.
confused with where you were going.
No,
but
I
it
really
makes
want to.
more
Like, I
sense
really
now.
want to make an awesome gaming rig like that because then you have like the stereo. You can like actually like run the sound through and everything. Be tight.
Yeah, but I mean the pedals and like the steering stuff. I mean to get the good stuff, it's cost prohibitive.
I know. That's why I haven't done it. Also,
But I do like playing with Mike's Sims. They are pretty good.
Yeah, but I think I've played one before.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, that Subaru event
Yes.
where
okay, that was him.
Pastrami and
Yeah, Tommy Pastrami. So, all right, this is where that name comes from. Travis Pastrana was at Maurice Minnetonka Subaru had a meet and greet for Travis Pastrana, and we had this one used car manager who's just like a total douchebag, and like everybody hates him.
weird.
Yeah,
That's a new one.
yeah.
I've never heard of that about
yeah.
used
Yeah, I
car
know,
managers.
right? But he had never heard of Travis Pastrana, and I convinced him that the guy's name was Tommy Pastrami. And
I was
so
hoping that was where it was going.
the used car manager goes up
Does
to
not
him,
disappoint.
like trying to bullshit and be like, pretend he's friends, like all friendly with him and everything. And he's like, "Hey, Tommy Pastrami." Travis Pastrana's like, "What the hell?" Like,
Perfect.
for the entire event, he called Travis Pastrana Tommy Pastrami.
I mean, I still think Travis Pastrana should change his name via deed poll to Tommy
Tommy
Pastrami.
Pastrami.
That's a way cooler name. I forget who was the other driver that was there with him. It was his team driver.
Oh God, you're asking me things. that
Fine.
happened
No,
days
we
ago.
don't have to do that. I can go to the
What
next
kind
one.
of pre-war car question is that? I don't.
Yeah,
I'm going to set you guys up for the next question, starting with you.
All right.
So, about a year ago now, a friend of mine out in San Diego sent me a Craigslist link to a 1984 Ferrari Mondial hardtop with no engine or transmission in it. And what we've got here is called the Mondial Challenge, which is you have this car, you have to put an engine and transmission in it that is not the original. You cannot cut any sheet metal, so it has to fit in a
Has to be
transverse
transverse.
V8, 4-cylinder V8-ish bay with a transaxle that is transverse, no longitudinal setups because it's got a trunk that you have to keep. What do you put in there to get the same or better horsepower and like better reliability, cheap, just
So-
generally a better swap?
to give you guys some information on
Already
that.
got an idea.
Good.
You can use over-the-counter adapter plates. Like
Yep.
I said, a 12A rotary with a street port on it and a Toyota AE101 transmission because there's a company in Puerto Rico that makes a adapter plate for that swap. The car also came with about 240-ish
Yep,
horsepower.
about 240 horsepower.
240 horsepower. It's an 80s Ferrari, so I mean,
Reliability.
anything is more reliable than that.
Okay.
Which is why I chose a 3.3-liter Toyota V6 with a factory TRD supercharger and an E153 5-speed transaxle out of a Solara. Because it's about 400 horsepower and it is turnkey reliable.
And automatics are not allowed.
Correct. Well, I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah, but
you
I
pick an
still
automatic,
have,
I
I
would
still have to say
escort you
because
out,
yeah,
yes.
I still have to say that because there's one
So,
percent was admin.
start with you.
autos.
Keep
What
you on the
can
spot.
you fit in there? Jeez.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. You're limited to, like, we've had people, I think, say 5-cylinder.
Yep,
Like,
you
with,
can fit a 5.
a Volvo 5-cylinder with the
Okay.
shorter transmission, you can fit that in there. So that's fine. But, like, you can't cut sheet metal.
Can't cut sheet metal.
No sheet metal cutting.
Can you fit like a 9A1 in there out of a late gen Porsche?
Well, that's longitudinal. You could
Yeah.
fit the engine in, but I don't think there's any commercially available. I mean, maybe you could put on like a
Maybe.
1.8T trans.
Well,
No, those are longitudinal too. No, actually,
No,
you can't do that.
180s
Or
have
a
a
Jetta.
they have a transverse. Yeah, and the GTS.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is maybe, but I doubt it. I think you'd have to have an M96, and even then, you'd probably have to get a 2.5 or probably a 2.5.
It's a good question because
We're in the neighborhood of what I was thinking, a VR6 of some sort.
That'd
you
be
could
cool.
definitely do
Probably
that.
fit. I want to push the edge of what's
That's
the
actually
size.
a reasonable idea. You could absolutely fit a VR6 in there.
Yeah.
We've actually never had that.
Yeah, no, it's a good one, and it sounds amazing. It sounds
Odd,
really
it's
cool.
kind of funky.
Huh.
Yeah.
Reasonably reliable as far as
You-
VAG is
Well, I wanted
concerned.
it to drive far enough for me to be in trouble and mad at it when it eventually does break down.
Okay, well, if you want that, then you can probably put a W8 in it and find a train.
No.
transmission.
I want to get out the. I want to get somewhere remote.
Oh, man.
I would like to get to cornfields by the
Yeah,
time
I
the car breaks.
want to get. I want to get to Waffle House before
I
it
still want
goes
the
sideways.
I still want the full 308 Mondial experience where I get halfway to my destination.
Okay.
And then you have to
Hear
wonder if I'm
absolutely
going to
nothing.
make it home.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why we particularly like the Alfa Romeo 3.2 liter V6 one that somebody chose. Like, yeah, you get a lot of the spicy, you get the same power, and you have no idea if it's actually going to make it home.
That's pretty nice.
So, Ben from Japanese Nostalgic Car, the website I write for, when I interviewed him, he had a great response, and he said an NSX V6, and the reason being is that whole car's existence was to be a thumb in the eye for Ferrari.
Yes. Yes. The Lamborghini angle.
Yeah,
Vengeance and
exactly.
anger.
It's like getting an organ donor for like a really racist person from like a different race.
Like
basically what that
David
amounts
Duke gets
to.
a new liver, and it's
Yeah. He has to be like thankful for this person that he hates. So that's basically the 308 and the NSX engine. Yep. So with that being said, we're putting you on the spot still. You got to pick something.
I got to pick something that actually can feasibly work.
Yes, and we will tell you if it won't, and then we'll belittle you and berate you.
it's all right. It happens.
I don't know. What would you put in there?
Well, we've already told
You
you,
know what?
our
Let's-
answers.
So I would want something that's fun, high revving, that
Okay.
won't kill you instantly.
So something,
eh.
and then you have to make it around 240 horsepower. Another suggestion I made before I came up with the 12A, and you're welcome to take this if you would like it. It's called a 7AGE. It's a 4AGE cylinder head from like an A86, but you take the 1.9 liter block out of a Geo Prism, which happens to bolt up. And then you can
Because
run.
it was a Corolla.
Yeah, and then you can take a supercharger off of a MR2, and that should give you about 240, 250 horsepower. It'll rev to the moon because it's actually an over a square block now, and it will make plenty of power and sound awesome because it's a super high revving, huge cam 4-cylinder.
So would
pretty
that be a
heavy,
black top or the silver top?
That would be either a black top or a red top. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the first.
The top
two.
end, anyway.
The small
Yeah.
port or big port.
Yeah.
4-valve.
But if you're going to do that, though, why don't you just drop in like a
You could-
2ZZ?
That would
like
be
Which
cool.
is
Matrix
aluminum.
XRS?
That would be
Yeah.
a really cool one. Yeah.
You can rev it out to like 9.5 and strap a blower
If
onto
you
it.
put new oil pump gears in it, maybe.
That's actually a legit.
I forgot
that's
you have an Exige, so yeah, you know all about this.
That would be a really
they
good
just blow up, but
example.
then you just go to the junkyard and grab another motor for $600 and you're good to go.
I suppose.
That's a great response. You want that to be yours?
Yeah,
'Cause,
2ZZ.
Yeah,
Let's
2ZZ.
make it official. That's my final answer.
Nobody's ever said a 2ZZ, and that is a great.
Would you
engine
go
that everybody sleeps
C56
on.
or C60?
Supercharger?
No, the trans.
Oh, 53 is what you should be running, though, isn't it?
What
Or
the hell
is it a
C-
63? It's so this shop out in Detroit, Monkey Wrench Racing.
Yeah,
They
MWR.
yeah, they do like MR2 swaps with like
Yeah,
a
the
C6.
6-speed box out of like the Celica and stuff is a C60.
Okay.
The MRT Spider and the 5-speed 1ZZ FED
I'd do a
box
C60,
use the
I'd do a
C56.
6-speed.
But the 5-speed's a lot stronger and the gear spacing's further apart. So if you're gonna like
Yeah, but then if
daily
you-
it,
Yeah,
I don't know, something to
can
think
put
about.
new ratios in.
Keep them all. The Mondial is quite a bit heavier than your Exige, so 6-speed with 240 horsepower might not last. But I guess that's not the point. Actually, no, it's perfect. It'll be unreliable.
Yeah.
No, it will
Yeah.
be reliable.
That has to
enough.
get you home faster.
No, it's reliable.
It'll keep
enough.
a gear.
Yeah, you'll be able to get home. It's just like
and
just like a
chain.
Mondial. You'll be firing out like 3 cylinders and like
Oh, yeah.
kind of getting home.
Yep.
Yeah.
That mechanical injection just working well.
And then 3 cylinders with fouled out plugs, and you're getting a whopping like 20 horsepower.
Yeah, that sounds just vile. I can smell the odor of a mal-running 80s Ferrari from here.
So speaking of Mondials and 308s,
Yes.
Toyota had a commercial for the Corolla hatchback, and that's the one I think I talked about last summer. Is
You
having
mean the Motor Cult car of the year 2019?
no, this is a hybrid one.
Oh.
In Europe that we don't get.
Ooh, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we don't get that.
In the commercial, it's this Corolla hatchback driving past all these historically significant cars. So there was like a old Renault, like pre-war, like Voiture, that the tiny cars that they made, flies past one of those, and then it flies past a race car that looks like a Bugatti Type 35, and then it goes into the 50s, 60s, 70s. And you drive past the 80s, and in the 80s, it's a 308 in the back of a tow truck with 2 people in it looking pissed.
Okay, that's a pretty good commercial, even though I don't endorse the car that it was for.
Everybody says this is a great commercial for a terrible car.
I've got one more of these official questions, and then we're going to jump into regular topics, which you guys are happy to help us with too.
We're almost through it.
Just got to survive.
Yep. Just one more, and this one is
we have a thorough vetting process.
This is what Trump called extreme vetting, basically. Except we're doing it better by not actually doing anything.
So like
with
top down, purple car, yellow wheels, extreme vetting.
Yeah, extreme vetting.
Yeah,
Awesome.
a convertible pace car C5. So we're
in.
talking
As I
about
say,
here.
that's Indy 500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But anyway, so picture this. You are going out to California, figure LA, whatever, for about 2 weeks. You have the option to pay through the nose for a rental car you don't want to drive, or you have the option to pay up to about $3,500 for a vehicle you just go buy, drive for those 2 weeks, and then drive home and sell for a profit. What do you buy? It has to make it home from California. It has to be reliable enough to do all of your tripping in there for 2 weeks. What do you buy?
While you guys are thinking about this, I'll give another one that I came up with. A Baricon Toyota Corona.
I don't know what that is.
I'm getting to
Does
that.
anyone know what that is?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Everybody that's like a huge Toyota and not knows what that is. It's the
I consider myself a
it's,
person who likes Toyota. I have no clue
an
what that is.
RT40 shovel nose Corona. It was
Okay.
like before the Corolla was Toyota's like big subcompact.
Mm-hmm.
The shovel nose Corona was that, and actually in Japan they had the 1600 GT, which sold alongside the 2000 GT, which had
is
a
a
4-cylinder
beautiful car.
version of a 2000 GT engine. Why don't you, while they're thinking about, throw up what a RT40 looks like for people that are watching on Twitch. Oh, that car looks awesome.
Hold
That's cool
on,
looking
I can't
thing.
see it yet.
Yeah,
All right.
and you can get one of those that almost all of them, because nobody knows, like,
Did they
there's
make
no
a
market.
two-door?
Yeah, they did.
Oh.
And they
Two
made a
doors are
wagon.
terrible, though.
They made a wagon.
4 doors are always better.
They made a
Oh, God, I
wagon
gotta
and they
get
made
out
a
of this
ute.
podcast.
You agreed to it.
They made
Yeah.
a wagon and they made a ute as well.
Oh, I'm back in. I mean,
Yeah.
4 doors are great for the right things.
This is one of those cars where actually
For being more
I think
attractive,
that
more rigid, cheaper, and better.
No.
Nor-
as well as
normally,
more
so
practical.
None of those.
normally I'm with you. I prefer the
I
coupes.
love 2 doors.
However,
2 doors are dumb.
with this car, I actually prefer the sedan.
That's fine. It
Yeah.
just seems to be a Minnesota thing that people love practical, less aesthetically pleasing.
But they look better, and they're
Dumpster
more
cars.
rigid.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
right.
but anyway, so what
Well,
do you
that's
guys?
choice.
What do you guys think? And one of those can be had for.
Oh, what
anywhere.
did you pick? We'll go over ours while they keep thinking, because I'm sure this is.
No, I've already got something.
I got this.
Oh,
I
you
think
do?
it's like an
Okay.
old Mercedes. No, I said a DA first generation Integra, flip up headlight Integra.
I gotcha. I
Yep.
think I said 93 4-cylinder 5-speed Camry wagon.
That'd be amazing.
'Cause those are impossible to find here, and they're thick on the ground out there.
Yeah.
Nolan, you're
Yeah,
ready?
Yeah, late 80s. We're talking like Formula Firebird /
That would be
Camaro, like any of those F bodies in the late 80s that are
Firebird,
maybe
man. Oh,
barely
yeah.
twined hung together now in the Midwest, and people just lust over them. Get your T-tops and your
Yep.
Oh yeah, you can.
170 horsepower V8s. and
Oh,
your-
you're being
yeah,
optimistic on the 305.
I'm hoping to get some fuel injection in there somewhere.
To be
Toilet bowl
fair, I
injection.
mean, you can get away with even a V6 in California and bring it up here and still make
People
it come
buy
up.
V6 cars up here are into that?
No, but I mean, like, it's the fact that you'd be selling
get
it
a
for the
305
body,
one.
like,
Yeah, right.
and like
okay,
a
that's
clean
true.
body for one of those is about $3,500 up here.
That's my guess is that
Yeah.
I can move on some sort of 80s muscle and
Okay,
people
that's,
here would
that's
love
a peculiar answer, but valid
That's a
nonetheless.
very, very good choice. I would have totally overlooked that.
Easy. They're just got to get a Miata.
That's true.
Get,
answer
get, a-
always is.
get
Speaking-
an NA8.
Speaking of
Yeah,
thick on the
you're
ground,
right.
NA is
Come on,
amazing.
guys.
yeah,
Cheap
no,
out there.
I was actually
not rusty.
Yep, bring it
Stops
back,
are gonna
sell it for
work.
$8,000.
That's not fair.
I was actually so like this week I was looking at Craigslist originally for a Corona. I couldn't find one, but I found like a couple in Los Angeles, but they're both automatic, so that's why I didn't buy it. But I also noticed that Miatas are, oh my god, every single one in the world is for sale there, and
Yep.
like they actually care about the quality of the car. Like up here, like regardless of what condition your Miata is, it's like a $4,000 car.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
regardless of how terrible it is. Whereas like down there, you can get one that's got like rattle can paint and like Rota wheels and some like eBay coilovers for like $1,000.
Can you imagine doing 2,000 miles on a highway in Racelands?
Oh, yeah, I've done that. I drove my CRX down to Chicago and back on
Well,
race
how
lanes.
much you're saving buying that car? You could ship it home.
Well, to be fair, what you can do, no, because Miguel,
bad idea,
my roommate actually has race lands on his Miata.
All right.
He bought it with us. He bought a Miata for $200 down in Rochester, actually.
Oh shoot.
The person is like, I broke the transmission. Miguel goes and like looks at it and sees that the guy put in like 2 bolts on the clutch and had like totally annihilated the clutch and like broke the flywheel.
It
So-
didn't put in a release bearing.
Yeah, and I didn't put in a release bearing, so Miguel goes to like O'Reilly's, buys a flywheel and clutch kit, and then slaps it into the Miata and drives it home
On his driveway.
in that guy's driveway in like 3 hours. And he got the car for $200, but it had raceline coilovers on it. And what Miguel did is he raised it up all the way.
Yeah.
The car now sits
So now you get a little bit of travel.
Yeah, so the car now sits 4 inches higher than stock.
Oh my god.
And so
Awesome.
he put like big like off-road tires on it, and it actually rides perfectly. And that's kind
It's
of
probably a lot down to the tire. but
Yeah.
yeah.
well, no. I mean, when he had the
Safaring a
original,
Miata, I
when he
would
had the
not.
original tires on it, like I rode in it and it
Sure.
rode perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean,
It
that
was
kinda makes
It was
sense.
4 inches taller than it was supposed to be.
The spring rates on race lines are actually pretty soft for the most applications, not all, but they're not
Yeah.
like
Well, they
10,
probably just have
12K.
one spring, you regardless of
Right.
like which car it goes on.
Right. Yeah, it's
Oh,
just
here's your strut and here's your one spring you get. Same rate. Universal
just
fit.
tighten it more.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. But yeah, most of those are like 600 kg mm or whatever, so they're kind of in the middle. The valving's obviously trash, but if you raise it up, then you get a little more
Yeah.
compression room. So hey, maybe it is okay. I don't know. Fair enough. I think a Miata's a good answer
And
too.
Yeah, that's a-
Miata's
It's not always the answer.
Oh,
Usually is. Though.
it's
It's
usually.
it's
It
usually
usually
a pretty
is.
good response. I don't know if
It'll
it's always
at the
the
very
answer.
minimum, it'll get the job done. The Miata is
BMW E30 is always the
No,
answer.
the Miata to Japanese cars is like a Mustang
good.
to muscle cars, where like it's usually gonna be a good contender. Like regardless of what you're doing, it'll probably be doing just fine.
I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
Japanese car weirdo though. I like all the Mitsubishis. So
Oh, I love Mitsubishi.
I was thinking 4G63 for that first question.
Oh, that'd be
just 'cause
yeah. Kua from Drive Cartel, he said that 4G63.
Didn't Balto say like 4G69 too?
Yeah,
or something
no,
crazy like that?
4G64, I think, which is a 2.4 liter with a
Yeah.
4G63 head.
Okay.
Yeah, Balto actually got into it. That was really cool.
I want to see somebody say like 3000 GTVR 4 swap or something.
6G32 is what you're saying.
Yes.
My second car ever. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on from this layer of autism, let's go into actual news stories, please. Ryan, do you want to talk about Seinfeld update?
Yeah. Can you turn off the screen grab and bring up the podcast?
I'm trying.
My computer's still booting up. 27 minutes later.
All right, there you go. I'm gonna bring up
So-
the link once you're done looking at it here.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, Seinfeld is now suing the dealer that he bought.
We're giving people an
That's
update.
56
Yeah,
from.
this is good. Yes, yeah.
So if you guys aren't familiar,
No, the 356
Seinfeld,
fake.
yeah, the Seinfeld sold a 356 Carrera GS GT to this firm called Fica Frio, and
Fecal Frio.
Fica Frio. They're based out
Oh, I
of
thought
the
it was cold shit.
They're based out of the Jersey Islands,
I was
south of
making a
England
joke.
and north of France.
You mean BM, Baltimore, Maryland?
But anyway,
Zing.
so
George Costanza, I'm out.
they're actually
You're still master of your domain.
so he
Push through.
apparently the car is supposedly not a GS GT. It might just be a Carrera GS, which is still like an insanely rare and sought after car.
How dare he?
Yeah, I know it sounds really trite to us, but
So did they actually send proof that it's not a
well,
GT?
no, they never did. But he doesn't.
And
what-
Pica Frio was quiet for a long
they-
time.
Yeah, from everything I know, they're still quiet. But what's going on is that Jerry Seinfeld, like, he's actually being super honest about this, and he's saying, "Well, I don't know. It could be. I mean, like, if they botch their inspection, and the whole issue is that with classic Porsches, they don't have the Ferrari Red Book inspection. Their inspection isn't like actually removing parts. It's like an outside like a pre-purchase inspection almost.
Right.
So it's not nearly as in depth. And so the issue is that he thinks that I think this is more to like force the hand of the dealership he bought from to show how they came to believe that this was a real GSGT.
Sure.
I'm gonna need the podcast notes again because I actually do have a couple of things here. I'm sorry. And my phone is just not updating the podcast notes.
All right.
Samsung, huh?
Yeah. How'd you know?
Dive. There's a battery in that.
But no, so the dealership we bought from is called
Check out
European
my Note
Collectibles.
5.
And the S7.
I know. It was making a joke about the batteries that aren't allowed on airplanes anymore.
But no, he wants to force their hand and show that they're not being fraudulent,
Right,
or
the
if they
burden of proof
are,
shifting to the dealer he bought it
exactly,
from. Sure.
and get it off of him. His lawyer said that Jerry has no liability in this manner, but he wants to do the right thing, and is therefore brings action to hold European Collections accountable for its own certification of authenticity, and to allow the court to determine the just outcome. So basically, Jerry didn't do anything. He's been 100% honest in all this. And now, of course, Fika Frio still hasn't come up with any actual proof. I did some research on them. From what I understand, I think that they're a shipping company that has a car collection.
Oh.
Because they've brought a lot of cars to Goodwood. They've had
I could see that.
a lot of like 50s and 60s era like GT racers and stuff, and like early Formula One cars. Perfect. So, yeah, I mean, I get where they're coming from. I think that they are a lot more thorough than most other people would be, and they're probably like freaking out because there's like one thing out of place.
Well, and they might just happen to have like the 190-year-old dude that was building these things.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Totally
that
realistic.
isn't right. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
no,
that's
totally.
not how I screwed this thing together with my.
Hans did not use that bullet.
And not only that, this is also
This is not a metric board.
this is a
This is 5/8 course thread. We do not use these in Germany.
this is a 61-year-old race car. You can probably bet that at some point this has been crashed into something or repainted or had the livery changed or something modified.
Well, if it's that valuable, almost certainly. The ones
Yeah.
that have been crashed are always worth more.
Yeah, so it's like something like that. Like if it's like a different hood latch or something, like then that kind of like that
And
might
maybe
not
that's-
necessarily mean that's not a real GSGT.
Sure.
It might have just had something that made it.
That's what they
For
found in
sure.
the parking lot to get
Yeah.
it back on that racetrack.
Exactly. So it very well could have been that somebody at some point in time had modified it. So I mean, we're keeping everybody updated on this.
So Jerry's not doing anything, but he's suing the dealer he got
yeah,
it from.
yeah, because Jerry Seinfeld's actually like legitimately trying to get to the bottom of this, because he said like, if this turns out to be fake, I will totally give you your money back, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's fake.
Right.
So he's being a really upstanding guy. It's exactly what I expected from Jerry Seinfeld. So, he's got nothing to gain from like defrauding somebody. Like, he's got all of the money. He's the Porsche guy.
We have to give him all the money from this podcast for all the Seinfeld quotes we're doing right now. He's
All the negative AGI that Carbitrage has, I would gladly give that to Seinfeld. He could help us recoup.
If I get a ride in one of these fake ass Porsches he's got.
To be honest, if we got into a beef with Jerry Seinfeld, we could only stand to win.
Yeah,
because
well,
we'll actually have people.
He could only stand to lose by bothering with us.
Yeah, exactly. Because all we're gonna do is just get more viewers and listeners.
All right, let's do it.
I do not want to start a fight with Jerry Seinfeld.
I do not condone these actions.
I've already like gone off of. I've already quit my fight that I had with myself and Doug DeMuro. So
You're not a big khakis fan.
Oh, this is the 2005 Doug DeMuro, and I am going to show you the quirks. Anyway, I want to talk to you guys about some bullshit that's going on in Europe in a couple of years. There's talks, and by that I mean pretty much going to happen, mandatory GPS-based speed limiting devices installed in all new vehicles in Europe in 3 years. So I want to know how many days past 3 years people have been able to disable these.
yeah, exactly.
And will it reduce the number of speed cameras
No.
or constabulatories?
Actually, no, it probably will reduce the number of speed cameras, and there will be people that take them off, and they'll probably get fined, and they're not going to care.
But just like, how does this happen? How does something like this get this far? And like somebody says, yeah, that's a great idea, and then he gets like his 40 other representative buddies to be like, yo, yeah, that sounds bomb. Let's only be able to do the speed limit all the time. So what the hell? I mean, okay, if you had a car in 3 years, let's say,
Yeah.
it shipped with the speed limiter. You get into this brand new thing after you sign on the dotted line, drive it down the highway, hit the speed limit, friggin' thing just stops accelerating. What would you do?
You know what's going to happen is they're going to get one lawsuit from a guy who bought like a McLaren P1, was going wide open throttle, getting on the freeway, and then like broke his neck. because the car just like locked up and now the guy's crippled. And he's just going to sue the government of Europe, and he's going to win. And then these are going to go away. It's going to be fine.
But you're okay if you live in the UK, though. Thank you, Brexit.
Yeah, thank you, Brexit. Yeah, so
It's like the one good thing to come of it.
yeah,
I guess, yeah.
I guess this is...
And the license plate from A30 wagon.
That's true. Yeah, that's a great
Yes.
license plate.
Yes.
And, this is just more evidence that cars from the 1980s are inherently better.
And that's the thing. I mean, they're not going to retroactively put limiters on older cars.
Oh, no.
They can't.
Oh, our
Like,
country's
there's no
going to
way.
be fine. My Model T will be just as good as it always has been, and yeah.
Well,
Oh.
that's the thing is, even if they do try to do
It's a
that,
tractor with a license plate. It's not even a car.
if they do try,
One-wheel
if they
drive.
try to
Oh,
do
yeah.
that, there's gonna be somebody that just like some contrarian dick that's take like the Blitzen Benz or something and start taking it out on the road and going full throttle and go like 109 miles an hour at all times. And they're gonna say, "How did he get past the speed limiter?" And say, "There's no speedometer. What do we do?" Like it's a 40-liter 4-cylinder. I don't know what to do about this.
And the American way, though, would be to have this, but then have a $1,000 option to turn it off. To just find a new market to make money off of it.
Right. And it looks like
that's
this is
fine.
rolled
Yeah, I'd be
into...
I actually would be fine with it. Like,
That's actually a really good idea because then you're gonna get some of the idiots off the road speeding
that's
that
fair.
like in
Totally
their
fine with
Dodge
that.
Journeys.
Keep
Yeah,
them in
fine.
the right lane.
If that's rolled into this legislation, great. I mean, this is written into 2022 safety standards. So I'm guessing by the time that these are actually put in to, effect, things will have been changed and ratified and rewritten.
that would be my
Hopefully
hope.
giving you a buyout clause
Yeah.
at the worst case.
That-
That'd
I
be kind of
mean,
cool.
yeah.
Like if I could do that for speeding, oh, no
Heck
brainer.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take out a second mortgage to do that. Good night. Anyway.
Off-road use only.
You-
Yeah. Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, my K&N panel filter is off-road use only. I would never
Exactly.
use those on a street car. I don't know what you're talking about, Nolan. But
I'm
I don't.
equally as in the dark.
I don't want to spend much time on that because it's a terrible, horrible thing, and it makes me sad for
The future
world.
is dystopian. Yep.
Now I want to speak about pre-war things.
Let's do it. Oh.
That was a poor ding.
I slapped it as hard as I could.
Yeah, well, there's a first
Bugatti.
problem.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
Bugatti is.
I don't know you
this
people.
is from a Facebook update that they
gallery.
had. That they teased a picture of the Bugatti Type
delightful.
57 SC Atalntique. Now the question is, they didn't mention anything about the Chiron or anything. Why did they do this?
Looks like a shitty dirigible.
What's the concept car, the front engine concept car when they were showing off the W12 from like 2004? I'll look it up. But Bugatti's been playing around with this idea of.
That'd be
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the
Luxury.
name. Yeah.
As long as it has an inline 8, that's all I care about.
I doubt it will. It'll be some sort of
yeah.
W6.
VR6 derived crazy making block.
I'd be okay with a VR12.
No.
That's what I'm saying. It'll be
Like
something
a
like that.
VR12 would be sick.
Yeah, that'd be
No,
way
I-
cooler than a W12.
Agreed. That would be really cool. I don't know. Maybe even a VR14, just something like if you're going for this pre-war
Something outrageous.
insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Or at
and
least
that's-
make it like a 19-liter two-cylinder or something.
well,
Like,
and that's the thing
Something,
is,
something exciting.
that's
with KERS.
I feel like if whatever they
Why
come
not?
up with, it's gonna be cool because they've got no budget. This is entirely they've got a budget of unlimited. This is entirely just because the head of Porsche, I think the guy who runs it, just wants to have a vanity project, and that's why Bugatti exists at all.
Mr. Pieck, an ultimate
well,
vanity
that's what I was
project.
wondering.
Hold on,
is
does that
it
not
was
just
this
look like a
peach
Morgan, though?
pick.
Everything old looks like a Morgan.
That's just,
Actually,
that's just
I
a
think,
Morgan.
I think what you mean to say is a Morgan looks just like that. 'Cause that
Yeah,
predates a Morgan.
that's what I would say.
But no, so these cars, because most people that are under the age of 110 don't know what a Bugatti Atalntique is.
Thank God.
Come on.
This was I think it was actually the fastest production car in the world when it was made. But they originally had made it out of magnesium, and they riveted it together because they couldn't weld it.
You're right, because it would catch on fire.
Yeah, because it was super light, and a company recently rebuilt
From the
original
Hindenburg
one.
company.
Don't worry, we covered it in a really aerodynamic paste called, what's that, thermite?
Kerosene.
Thermite has got a really good drag coefficient.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why if you look, it's got that fin that goes along the entire body. That's actually where they riveted it. And
That's cool.
they thought like, oh, since we're riveting it, this will kind of show off that it's actually made out of magnesium. The production ones were made out of aluminum, which was still pretty
I bet
awesome.
that this is Bugatti. Would they call it aluminum? Or would it be
Aluminium?
whatever? No, because Bugatti's German, isn't it?
No, French.
Is it French?
It's right in the middle. It's in northeast.
It's from Alsace-Lorraine,
okay.
but yeah,
Correct. Yeah.
So I hear there's a lot of speed cameras on fire in that part of the country.
it's true. It's all because of old Bugattis.
Fingers crossed, and we can only hope.
But no, they when they were making it to be like out of aluminum and everything for the production one. You could get them supercharged. So it's an inline 8 dual vert cam supercharged. Yeah, it's like 2 liters, made 137 horsepower. In
The
like
most
1930.
ridiculous dual overhead cam engines are the early ones because they put 2 camshafts on and they're still stuck with 2 valves. So I'm like, why the hell did you do that?
It's awesome
That's very good.
because
Seinfeld
you
impression.
can.
I just
What's
got 2
the deal with the early dual vert cam?
The valve's 3 inches wide.
But I'm really excited. They're going to be showing whatever this is, will be shown at Geneva, and I really want to see a new Atalntique. And yeah, like a W6, or a VR12 would be
Yeah.
Or like an
fuck
odd
yeah.
number of cylinders just to mess with people.
9-cylinder.
Yeah,
My
like a,
pet project, the Serpent 7, would just be this inline 7 ridiculous shit.
hey man, with balance shafts and all that stuff these days,
You're gonna need to.
It's
All I'm
internally
saying-
and externally balanced with dual counter-rotating balance shafts, and it'll still be pretty.
So the VR6,
Still,
the VR6
the noise?
in the 2.5 5-cylinder I have full second made are pretty close to the same architecture. You could take the VR6 and then stick a 5-cylinder in front of it,
I have an idea.
and then make a VR11,
A
a VRL11.
A VR-ish 11.
VRL, like one off the side
No,
for
you
no
have
reason.
your VR6 and inline 5.
What the?
So
So
Y11.
Yeah,
But
Y11.
you would have it inverted though.
oh yeah. How are you gonna oil the cylinder heads?
No, actually, you're
No worry about blow by.
plugs. Yeah.
2 pistons per cylinder. And then,
You know, old aircraft radial engines, they had just like the single layer ones, and then
Yeah.
they had like the later ones, which are like
Yeah.
layered, twisted radials. Basically,
Yeah.
it was like a whole bunch of stacked ones. What if you just took like one bank of those that was from the twist, and just had like a gummy worm shaped 7-cylinder inline engine?
that'd be
Like,
perfect.
Make it air cooled. Just
Half-
screw it.
That'd be perfect.
Half
They
of
should
an airplane
absolutely do
engine.
that.
It'd be like a 1/7 of a big radial. Be like,
Right.
yeah, this is cool. We got fuel injection.
The EU says we can't have these in 5 years. Why not?
Well, we're not going to do an electronic speed limiter. We're just going to make the car not fast enough to do the speed limit.
Oh, it was the
That's our way around it.
218 was actually the Bugatti that they came up with. It was a sedan too. You might
Yeah,
like it.
yeah.
It kind of looks like a J30. Thank you for
Yeah.
reminding me of that. Yeah.
It's just these oddball concepts.
Oh
at
God,
height.
the front end is just a disaster.
Yeah, no, it's rough. It's rough.
She's a bit of a minga. Oh, God.
Yeah, that.
Woo!
That's the height of the
That
post-
looks like
2000 bubble era.
The Chinese auto manufacturers tried to copy a Maybach 57. Is what that looks like.
It
Okay.
looks like a sedan, which apparently is better than a coupe.
18 cylinders,
that
though.
sedan looks like that.
18,
That's so cool.
Oh,
right?
That
Oh,
dashboard's
man.
awesome.
Is that a
Everything except
manual?
for the outside.
no, can't be. Maybe it is.
That looks like a manual.
It does look like a manual.
It's German, so it's probably Triptronic of some sort.
Triptronic.
Trip
Thank goodness you got
Trip on
lucky, and it
yourself,
is
Tronic.
under the VAG umbrella, so it would have the Tiptronic nomenclature.
Yes.
Otherwise, you would have been like every other pleb in the world, where you just call everything with
Oh, dude.
an uppy downy a Tiptronic.
That engine looks pretty nifty.
Yeah, that's pretty sexy. It's
Yeah.
got a water-cooled alternator, so you know it's from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I'm just
Anyway.
saying, if you're going to go peak German, then
German?
peak German. We've reached peak German.
I still love the it was like languages and how you say like common items, and it's like ambulance, butterfly, and yeah, I just said ambulance, whatever.
I think you have to be. I think you have to double.
But like it was like butterfly. It was just like beautiful romance languages where it's just like this melted chocolate coming out of the writing, and in German it's like Kubenschlackenflagenflower. It's like, how do you get that many syllables out of that thing? So that just means that they engineer things.
I
really
think
well.
I think actually it was Packard. It was either Packard or it was Nash. But there was a company in America prior to World War II that had a generator and water pump in the same thing,
Oh,
and it used like a little jack shaft. But the thing is, it never failed.
Yeah, I could see that being actually fine, because if you had it in like a sealed slip section or something.
But that's the thing. Prior to World War II, so pre-war, and they were known to not fail. Like, that's so weird to me.
It's older technology. It's like stator technology. As long as you have something rotating near a bunch of copper, it's going to make a field, and you can make power with it.
50s refrigerators that are just still going.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
$35
Very
of
energy efficient,
electricity.
those
Oh,
things.
yeah.
Yeah. Easy to get trapped inside, nice and efficient.
You
Really
added
good stuff.
According to
several things to the podcast notes, and I have like no topics.
You can take the Honda one after this if you want.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's Honda related. I added the midweek. I mean, that's fine.
I added all mine on Tuesday.
Pretty
so-
much all the rest. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Pretty much all the rest of my stuff is EV related. So,
Oh.
sorry, Nolan. I can mute your microphone if you don't want to hear it. And I
It's
can
clean
mute your
coal
headphones.
power, man. Clean coal.
Powered
It's the
by
future.
Clean
Clean coal cars.
Yep.
I've got solar panels on my roof, but they're covered in snow, so I'm definitely running on coal.
Oh, good.
But midnight coal. Yeah,
So
man, off peak.
We're actually just gonna be talking about pre-war Russian land speed record cars for the rest of the episode.
Both of them?
So anyway, talking about actual news, Volvo
Give me a Seadrill.
just dropped earlier this week
A Seadrill.
news that they are going to be developing a competitor to kind of halfway between a Model 3 and where the Model Y will sit. It's called the Polestar 2. And Volvo has, I think, officially taken the Polestar tuning name out of internal combustion and like suspension design and just turned it into an electrified sub-brand, which I'm like kind of okay with, but I think it's a weird play.
That's actually a very clever play because Polestar is now known for performance,
And this
and
is
they're
fast.
going after Tesla.
Right.
It's both performance and an upper brand from Volvo, and I think it's the right move given where they're at.
I think so too, especially because it lets that differentiation happen, so you don't have to ease people into something quite as
right.
easily
If
like you do, like what
still
Audi
want
did
four
with their new
cylinders and you
e-tron.
want to turbocharge the
Right.
supercharger, sure, we got a car for you.
Welcome to Volvo, where everything
Right.
we build has a 4-cylinder. But we have badges that say 6 and 8. They just have different versions of multiple turbo supercharging and electrification added to them.
Hey, if BMW does it, it's an industry-wide great idea.
I don't care about BMW except for the M2 competition and the M3 6-speed.
Yeah, BMW. We decided that a while back that
oh,
BMW is
good.
dead to
oh,
him.
Good. Good. Yes.
I haven't yet taken our regional CCA Instagram account and started going after corporate BMW on their posts for like the X5 and X7, but I'm getting close.
I mean, S engines, they're born in your crossovers. That's the way it works, right?
That is how it works now, apparently.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
If it
As
makes
the
you
room
feeling
is
better,
burning down around me.
Yeah.
Toyota's getting better, and Mitsubishi still makes a Mirage. So we can be happy.
the Genesis G70 is still on the horizon. That is a great car.
You said, I'm just going to, my little rant.
My Little Pony?
No.
My
the
first
Mirage
car
is
was an
great.
Eclipse.
Oh, okay.
And so right now I'm just not.
The Eclipse
I-
Cross. No,
I
I said
ignore
the
them.
Mirage. That's the only thing I care about.
I know what you said. They don't exist right now.
Mitsubishi
Maybe they'll
makes
pull
one
their
good
head out of
car.
their butt,
Whenever
but-
I say 4th gen Eclipse on Balto, he gets so irked. Like, there isn't a 4th gen Eclipse. I'm like, yeah, I just saw one on my way here.
He
No,
does.
no,
he
that's
drives a fourth.
I mean, a
gen.
5th gen, sorry.
Oh,
5th gen.
okay.
It's a badge engineered Dodge
Sorry.
Avenger.
Yeah, I meant the 5th gen.
So disgusting.
The one that actually isn't an Eclipse, but it is Eclipse. Anyway.
Yeah,
So
the Eclipse
here is the
Cross.
Polestar
Back to
2.
this. Yep.
This thing it's kind of like Jaguar I-Pace shaped. Like
Yeah.
it's like an all-track wagon size more than it is a CUV because it's got a really small greenhouse.
Is there?
And I
like-
actually really like the 4-spoke wheels.
yeah, no, they look good. Is there cladding on the? It doesn't look like the.
Yeah,
front,
it's got
but-
plastic cladding on the
It
bottom.
looks tall and unwieldy.
I don't think it is.
Does
But I
it-
mean, every time you work with a battery pack under a floor, you end up by nature with some thickness there.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the wheel gap here.
Yeah, it's designed to be a soft rotor.
What?
A soft rotor.
What's that?
It's an
A
off-roader
mall
that never
conveyance?
a mall crawler. Yeah,
Yeah.
an off-road capable vehicle
Why
that never
are we
once
excited about this?
because it's electric and it's good.
I don't
and
care.
Its base price is
It's a
$35,000.
soft rotor.
The base price will be $35,000.
soft
They still have a completely intact $7,500 federal tax credit, which is something Tesla currently can't say because they've got their $3,750 in place through I think June. Then it drops off to $1,700. But I mean, especially in the in light of things like the e-tron finally being announced, which is like 2,000 pounds heavier than a Model S, and has like 300 horsepower, I'm just like, okay, that's not good. Yeah. So I'll rip on the e-tron all day as an EV, but like this actually is a really good value proposition for people looking to get into something like this, because it's priced like right in line with a Hyundai Kona and
I
like
think
a Kia Soul.
You nailed the comp. It's the I-Pace. This is an I-Pace if you want to save 30 grand.
Pretty
and
much,
not look like you're driving a Hyundai. This is it.
And honestly, it will be right in line with the Model Y when that drops too.
Hyundai has really given themselves Volkswagen syndrome. Super bad.
What's VW syndrome?
Volkswagen syndrome was when Volkswagen first brought the Passat to America, and they tried to make like a super like upscale version of what the Passat turned out to be before they moved it down market.
That too.
Well, Mazda doesn't seem to have as much of an issue as Volkswagen and Hyundai do, because they're like synonymous with cheap cars.
They were.
Mazda, on the other hand, is synonymous with being a great car company that was ruined by Ford for 20 years.
Mazda's synonymous with rust.
That's true. It's very true.
Very true.
I'm even fighting it on my car.
I had a
I'm still
2000
like,
Protege, so yeah.
Those just, I mean, you ever go to Canada?
Anytime you get this far past the B pillar, like the rest of the car is cheesy. It's good luck.
It's true.
They keep going. But
No, they're fine.
That's super
The drivetrain
frustrating.
was luckily in the first half of the car, so I'm okay.
Right.
So I could just follow that.
That
And all
that
the,
frustrates me a
structural
lot
levers.
because the Protege 5 I think is one of the best looking subcompacts of like the early 2000s.
Yeah, this is
but
that.
they just even those like Swiss cheese, like there's nothing left of them.
Yeah. I guess you go to California, you buy a Protege.
There you go. Buy a Protege.
Yeah, if you're going to like
and you find this guy right here.
no, if you're going to
Right.
Bakersfield, like it's the only place you can go. Because if you go anywhere like within like 10 miles of the coast, it's gonna rust in half.
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys have talked about it, but I think the best thing that Volvo/Polestar's got going for them is their aesthetic. Like
I think it's their seats.
are those the plaid? Did they have the plaid?
I don't know, but Volvo has the most comfortable seats ever.
I'm a plebe. I don't get in cars like that.
Oh,
but
okay.
they have their own way, and they haven't given up on it. I mean, this evokes the shooting brake concept from 2013.
I mean, it's
brown.
Swedish, so it has to be good.
Oh, what is the name of that car?
Wow, Nolan, you're really dropping the ball on your old
Yeah.
obscure car references on a podcast you had no idea you were going to be on today.
This is just what my brain does. Like,
Hey Derek, do you want to talk about EVs that aren't mall crawlers?
yes.
Sure.
Okay, so Honda actually has an EV that's coming out that is also going to be unveiled in Geneva, which it doesn't look like we're going to get. It might be a little small for our market, but I'm really still holding out that we might get a chance in hell and get it.
Yeah.
They said
But yes,
we weren't, but
this one, the Honda Urban
is
EV.
perfect.
Yes, it's
Yep.
just like a Fiat 500
except it's
electric,
rear-wheel drive.
and it's rear-wheel drive, and it's a hatchback, and it's based off a first-generation Civic or a Honda N600.
So
It's
is that like
styled around that.
Yeah,
It's not
I
based
should
off
say,
of one
yes.
thing.
is it like Honda Fit
Inspired
sized?
by.
A little bit smaller, so it'd be, from what I understand, it's based off like a Honda City-sized platform,
Okay.
which is like right south of the Fit. So it's a little bit
I think
smaller.
you
than
could
Fit.
say Fit, though. That's the modern.
Yeah, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be in the American
XB
market.
maybe,
yeah.
not quite so.
First gen,
No,
maybe.
not an
Not quite
XB.
that
It'd be smaller than a Fit or a Yaris. So
Okay.
maybe a
Oh,
Mod-
Yaris.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
Yaris.
So
I totally rock that. That's a cool
Definitely.
car.
Definitely.
like, talk about a great track car. EVs have a ton of power. It's rear-wheel drive. It's gonna be fun to drive. Like that car is gonna be awesome. Honda cannot possibly mess this up, and not only can they not mess it up, Honda's also
They already have messed it up. That looks so much worse than the concept car.
the concept car.
No, I
looks
agree.
way
It is a
better.
4-door now. That's a good point.
Yeah.
No,
but
see, that's good. These are only being sold in
No, the
five-door variant.
concept is a 2-door, which looks better.
I was
with-
talking
with-
about like the nose and the wheels. But okay.
No, the concept does look better, but of
Concept
course
way better.
I've been having this conversation with Ben like nonstop since they changed it, and I've been telling him like I don't really concepts are always going to look better than the production counterpart. We should be happy about the
They
production.
should just stop giving us concept cars.
Well,
Or just
yeah,
make them like
I mean,
this, where it's 80-90% of what we're gonna get.
and that's the thing. Like my thing is like
Right.
I would rather get this compared to the concept than get the production version of the Nissan IDX.
I don't even know what the Nissan IDX is.
Is
thank
that
God.
the
I'm not
510 looking
Googling it.
thing?
The 510 looking thing that was stillborn.
Oh yeah, that actually looked really good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the IDX. But exactly, I would rather have this than have the production IDX, which doesn't exist.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I think that this is.
I
gonna be a
like that
really,
it's
really
5-door
cool
only,
car.
it's rear-wheel drive, and it has a more than 100-mile range as an option.
And
It's pretty good.
I like that it kind of takes. It's got kind of the same shape of the Fiat 500, which I'm a really big fan of, and it looks like it's gonna be a really, really cool car to drive. And I really, really, really hope that it ends up in America, like super bad.
Yeah,
Somehow.
they've told us that it won't, but I'm sure it will eventually.
Yeah.
It might.
I will buy it in 25 years, if need be.
Well, maybe like 26, because I think we still got about a year until it hits the. They're saying that I think deliveries will actually start happening in late 2019 for these. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great looking little car. I've no doubts there. I wish it was a little more of the concept.
like motif is a little annoying, but they
This looks like an
already-
80s Sony ad
No,
right there.
you know what it looks like? It looks just like a first-gen CVCC Civic interior.
And that's, I think,
All the way down to the tweed seats.
Isn't that what they also talked about? Their inspiration for like the C-pillar kind of look is that
Yeah.
very CVC kind of.
CVCC,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that it's really cool. I like the two-spoke steering wheel.
Yeah.
Like, that's really rad.
I'm kind of meh on those. I mean, I get why they do them.
No, I mean, like, as far as, like, taking the retro look and actually doing it right, because, like, I'm just really excited for, seeing photos from Geneva this year, because Bugatti's going to have the Atalntique, Honda's going to have this, and then there's a third one that's happening.
I think the Polestar 2 is going to be there.
The Polestar, and there's another one that I was, like, really jazzed about. Peugeot's going to have their...
Oh, they're coming to America. Whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
that one.
Are they?
Yes, and they're bringing that cool 405 EV concept.
wow.
That's to come here too.
We'll talk about that later in the week.
Yes, I'm waiting until Jana gets here to my
Sure.
girlfriend, because she's like a huge French car nut. So
So I've only got one more thing to talk about in this episode, which is kind of a sad thing, but it was actual local news, which we don't get that often. So I'm going to go ahead and touch on it. This was, okay, so we've had snowpocalypse February. We've had how many inches? 20, 30?
Over 30 at this
Over
point.
30
That
inches
parts
of
the
snow.
state.
So, I mean, you drive on any given day where it's snowing, you're going to just see a ditch lined with people that have improper equipment.
Yeah.
So, there's a guy down in southern Minnesota,
or I should
Faribault.
say, improperly used proper equipment.
I don't think so.
You know, they're all seasons are probably bald anyway. So.
Yeah.
Jana
Mine's
saw
certainly
a
not.
Highlander bounce across the highway, and I saw a 4Runner high-centered in a snowbank.
What
the
did you
other
have
day.
for tires?
I don't know. The snow was
That's not
up
the
to
right
the middle of the
equipment
door.
then. Yeah, that should.
But the thing is, like, how do you do that to a 4Runner? Like, you get
Trying.
Bad tires.
Try pretty hard.
Oh,
Trying,
you
yeah.
just don't though. I mean, I had really bad tires on my 4Runner when I first bought it, and I'm like, I just don't need snow tires yet.
yeah. It was
No,
fun.
no, it wasn't, because you couldn't go anywhere. You definitely couldn't steer, and holy shit, you could not stop. It's amazing what bald tires. I mean, there's nothing.
That I mean, I guess. I mean, I got. Yeah, I guess you're right.
So winter tires make just as big a difference on
Yes.
SUVs. But anyway, this guy stopped in Faribault, Minnesota to pull a car out of the ditch with his truck or whatever. So he takes his standard issue tow strap, hooks it around his tow hook, hooks it around the trailer hitch of the car in the ditch,
Yeah.
gives her some spicy salsa. The trailer hitch pulls off the frame of the car in the ditch, goes through the back window of his truck, hits him in the head, and kills him.
Oh,
Jesus.
man.
So talk about a freak accident.
Oh,
I'm
my
like, that
God.
makes me not want to pull people out of ditches anymore.
I love
but
pulling
like,
people out of the
me too.
ditch.
But go
Yeah,
for a
you-
tow hook.
yeah,
Don't go
yeah,
for
you
a.
don't go for the trailer hitch,
trailer
yeah.
hitch.
The A-arm, I guess.
Something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get it. Like if it's up to the bumper and snow, you're gonna go for the easiest. Oh, that's
Right.
strong. That'll be fine.
Right.
But
I'll
yeah.
pull it up like a little bit and then rehook it.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah. But anyway, poor guy.
That is sad.
That kind of hits a little close to home. Now, I think we should probably talk about something happier.
Pre-war cars, it is. Oh.
I mean, what did we learn this week?
We could do that. Yes. So
We're on a topic, so we got to do that.
That's a good point.
Or you could get the bagpipes.
No.
let's find a topic.
No, we're gonna talk about what we learned this week. So at the end of every
Or I
episode,
could talk about my new car, I guess. But
at the end of every episode, we've been taking our, because we don't want to end on that.
Yeah.
We want to end on something happy, something cool that we learned that we're happy about. So the thing that I'm happy about that I learned was that the guy played Johnny Tran in Fast and Furious 1. He was also in villain in 007, and he was in the Netflix series Marco Polo, which was really rad, and I highly recommend everybody watches it because it's super cool. It's about Genghis Khan.
Okay.
But he has quit acting and actually works for an NGO that helps third world countries modernize their economic systems and stuff. So
Oh, jeez.
I know, right? Like the dude went from like
He went from a Honda 2000 with $100,000 under the hood to that.
yeah, exactly.
You
Like
don't get that back in the resale.
well, to
No,
be
God, no.
to be fair, I mean the guy had like a perfect acting career. Like he hit it out of the park. His first role was in Fast and Furious. Then he was a Bond villain.
That was his first movie?
Yeah.
Really?
Like that was his first
That's-
like big movie. Like he did a couple like tertiary roles, but like that's his first like big role that he had.
Okay.
His name is Rick Yuan, I think. But he
Wow.
did that, and then he did Marco Polo, where he played Genghis Khan's brother, and then after that is like I've done everything I need to at this point. Like I'm just gonna go on and work for NGO and make a whole shitload of money doing that.
His heart will go on.
Not ours.
Was
but
he in
his.
Titanic?
no,
If not, he should have been.
No, he
Wow, can you
predates it.
imagine? What character would he have been in Titanic? I would have loved to see Johnny Tran on that boat.
Holding a viola as the boat goes down.
I feel like he'd be like squirting
sorry,
methanol
it's,
into the injection for the coal-fired engine or something. Like,
It's-
to make this
it's-
thing do 40 knots.
His name's actually Rick Yune, actually.
Rick Yune?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's Korean. I'm not great with Korean names. I'm better with Japanese. I'm using a Japanese pronunciation. It's
And yet you choose to butcher it. Sounds good.
no, it's Y-U-N-E. So you do Y-U
close
and then
enough.
N-E. Yeah. What?
That's close.
Yeah, that's close enough. You know who I'm talking
The
about.
first time I was
It's
told
Johnny
how to
Tran.
pronounce the
yeah,
last
it's Johnny
name,
Tran.
I know who
Win.
you're talking about. It's Johnny Tran.
It is like Nguyen or something, and somebody's like, "That's Win."
Win.
I'm like,
Win.
"What? How? There's a G in it."
You know,
It's like the last name
woof
NG.
sound that N and G make.
Yeah. What is that?
I think it's like Ing.
Ing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know. I'm not very cultured.
Actually,
as it turns out, so.
Rick Yune's first role is he played Kazuo Miyamoto, Japanese American war hero, in a movie about him called Snow Falling on Cedars. So, but I mean, he did that, and then and it was like a really small like art house film, and then Fast and Furious a year later.
The fact.
Yeah, his only movie.
Drastically different role.
Yeah, so he did.
It's a versatile actor.
But like, all right, so he did that. And he does Fast and Furious 2001, 2002. He does Die Another Day, and he's a Bond villain.
We were talking about this earlier. I had totally forgotten that he was in that movie.
Yeah, like he's.
Well, I didn't recognize him even watching them in the theaters. That shows his versatility.
Yeah,
It
he's
does.
he's a really really like versatile actor. It's really good. And then Marco Polo, and then now he works for the Center for Global Dialogue and Cooperation. Like, just goes 180.
Hey man,
degrees in
most
his
people
life.
have career changes in their lives.
Yeah, this guy definitely went like 180 degrees. Like just like a really stellar acting.
Well, once he
career to
realized that a
that.
couple SR20s were going to pull a premium raise for us, I think he decided that he was going to change his career up. So,
You know, after he got arrested at family dinner like that, he's got to
He
bounce
does-
back.
got slapped by his father. Just
Yeah.
tremendous disrespect.
This is what he's doing. He's trying to get back.
Yeah, he's trying to get respect
Fast
for
Picking
his family
himself
again.
up by his bootstraps.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in Fast 12.
That'd be great.
Fast 12. The children are smart now. Like that. I
So-
don't know where this series is going, but
Burger, what is
Haven't for a
your
while.
what is something fun that you learned today? That's
I
not
learned
that?
the Chinese phrase for cat is xiao mao.
Shamao.
Xiao mao.
Now I know.
There you go.
Okay.
Is that like you walk into Eddie Chang's and that's what you ask for now?
No, my niece and nephew go to a Chinese immersion school, and they taught me how to say xiao mao. I'm like, Sadie, how do you say cat? She's like, xiao mao. I'm like, hell
Do,
yeah.
do you have to say it like that, like regardless
The
of
inflection matters.
the
yeah.
inflection matters regardless
Yep,
of where you
Shao
are in
Mao.
the
Is that what Michael Jackson was trying to tell us?
No, he was trying to say xiao mao.
Oh, see, I
See, it starts high and then goes low.
thought he was going for cat.
Xiao mao.
Oh, another thing, the grandma.
No, you get one thing.
Okay, fine.
What did you learn fun this week? Can be related to anything, because that's what we do.
Shoot. I don't learn anymore, man. I just like knowledge slowly seeps out of me, and
Well, you learned that Johnny
get
Tran
dumb.
is like doing good things for the world.
yeah, but that was his thing.
I know.
That's his thing.
But
And-
you gotta have something in your life going on.
And his brother Lance with the snakeskin pants is in. He's now a regular and fresh off the boat. So there's that.
what is Vince doing these days?
Ooh, yeah.
He's probably in
Good
jail.
question,
Where
actually.
are they now? A monthly segment.
Have Derek respond with something, and I'm gonna figure that out.
We could skip you and
Yeah,
Custer
you're
Nolan.
gonna have to come back to me.
Okay, fine. Well, eeny, meeny, miny, Nolan.
Oh gosh.
Nolan.
I learned that there's not heated seats in a fajita I was thinking about buying.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that
that's a
kinda-
bummer. But it is a 6-speed, which is pretty cool.
Well, it puts anything on the table if it's a manual.
Yeah.
Well, have you considered moving away so you don't need heated seats?
All the time, but unfortunately I got married to a local. And
You guys are communists.
They think it's great.
It is great.
My wife thinks it's the greatest thing on earth.
I love snow so much.
Is she from Minnesota?
Yeah, she's from here, but she never shovels, so I guess.
Yeah, isn't that
like,
weird?
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
David
So,
Blowy.
Uh,
Gotta get yourself a David Blowy.
Now I gotta get
It'll
a
change
wife
your
who
life.
wants to move south.
he hasn't done much.
This isn't going live, is it, to the internet, right?
It's live right now.
Oh baby, I'm sorry.
And of course, it'll be immortalized forever on SoundCloud and Twitch and YouTube and Google Play and Spotify.
Spotify has bought you.
How
yet
does
or
he
not?
make any money?
We're on Spotify now. Yep.
I don't understand how Matt Schulte, the guy plays
Vince,
Vince, makes any money.
The Buster?
Like, this dude has
fill
like,
us in.
he has the most anticlimactic acting career I've ever seen in my life. So he did Fast and Furious,
Uh-huh.
The Transporter, Blade 2, The Heart is Deceitful Above All Things, Out of Reach, Torque, Bounty Hunter, Seven Mummies,
Torque.
Final Move, The Flock, Mr. Brooks, The Acquirer, Extract, Fast 5, and Action Point. And then like he was in like he's a special in Seventh Heaven, CSI Miami, Law and Order SVU, and Weeds. Like
course he
that's
He's
his,
just an extra, really.
Yeah.
that is his entire acting career. Like
He's
what is
credited as second plant from the right in CSI Miami.
yeah, exactly.
Great.
Like that is.
Lovely.
I usually
Isn't that
like
gorgeous?
that really bums me out because like everybody else from Fast and Furious is like God, I do
But
like
again,
a really
a
interesting
concept,
thing.
so they tease it and we'll never get it. Sorry, I went back to car stuff. I
No, that's all right.
can't not think
It was
about car
a
stuff.
brown Volvo wagon with potentially a turbo diesel under the hood.
Nom nom nom. 2-door.
I learned that I want that.
Shooting
Nolan,
brake.
Nolan, what'd you learn?
I didn't learn anything related to cars. It was
Well, it doesn't have to be
It
cars.
doesn't have to
I
be.
learned
Oh.
the Chinese word for cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that I found my Command and Conquer CDs. So
Oh
that
yeah,
I can play
I'm so stoked for
Did you,
LAN
like,
party next week.
RTS video games.
I still got to get this place prepped for the LAN party next week, but I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited too.
That's
be
gonna
Are
be
awesome.
you
great.
game? Are you?
I'm like the most uncoordinated person in the world.
Computer
Yet,
games
yet,
though.
Computer
you,
game.
yet
You don't need coordination
go
for
out,
that.
you do track days, even though you're uncoordinated.
That's
Yeah, it's
response
like
time.
the
It's
fear
not
of
coordination.
death is like what
Really
intrigues
hones
me.
the
Yeah,
skills.
Exactly.
Yeah. I
That's
get
fair.
that. I get that. I
get-
can forget about my life while I'm in that autocross for those 40 seconds. Like go, and it's done.
Oh, yep.
Oh, great.
Now I
remember.
wait for an hour.
Now
I was
remember.
explained to
I
a
like it.
person. I drove a Mazda Millennia over the week, like last week. That was like totally flawless.
Oh yeah.
And
Does
like,
that have the swing vents, the like little motorized AC vents?
no, that was the 929.
Yeah,
but
okay.
the Millennia had the Miller Cycle V6 with the supercharger. I'm like, I've never driven one without the check engine light on. So I've never driven one that actually has the supercharger working. I was really excited, and it was a Buick. It drove just like a Park Avenue.
Well,
It
keep in
was-
mind that supercharger is just there to facilitate the
movement.
the
The
Miller
movement of
cycle.
air, So
to
I was
work.
I was really bummed out because I was expecting more, and I texted my editor about it, and he's like, "Dude, Mazda's actually looking for one," and I'm like, "All right, cool. Well, give me the information so I get." The lady might end up selling her car to Mazda corporate because it's like the only
cool. That's
clean
nice.
Millennia. Like it's like a super nice Millennia. But she was talking about. She was yeah. She's like I've had like this like extensive list of like kind of cool cars. And she goes, I don't understand why I don't like my Millennia. Like, it makes, like, a reasonable amount of power. Like, it's a totally reasonable car. I'm like, well, see, the thing is, it's not a matter of, like, what kind of power it makes or what transmissions. It's about how engaging it is to drive. And I'm like, it's what you call a meh car. It's not
Well-
inherently bad.
I think it has to do with the engine because the response is just not.
That's
there.
what I mean. But this
But I
is,
mean, that's like the difference between the 1.5 and the first gen XB and the XA versus the Atkinson cycle version and the Prius. Like you drive those are both basically the same engine, and one is just awful.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it's just ruined. Well, a lot of things ruined that car, but
Right. It doesn't help.
yeah.
Well, they
the
both
XB
sound
was
pretty
actually-
awful.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
the 1.5 in the XB is actually a hoot.
But what I
like
told
when
her
It's not like
was
fast or anything.
what I told her was like the whole appeal of a fun car is you don't have to spend like a ton of money to get something super awesome. Like it's about the fear of death you get in a car. Like you have just as much excitement driving a Yugo at 80 miles an hour.
80. Oh my lord.
Yeah, exactly.
That is balls out.
As you will driving a Corvette on a road with curves on it. Like they're both gonna be equally as terrifying and you feel like you're gonna die. And it is going to be a blast and you're gonna love it and you're gonna tell your friends about it. Like that's the whole appeal of like the fear of death when driving.
I like when the limits are lower. That way I can have more fun at slower speeds.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the death thing for me, but it's to practice my skills in places I shouldn't be able to. Just like going to the grocery store and be like, oh, nailed it upshift, and like, oh, I just right there, like you saying, with just like playing with the back end of just, and the
That's
guys are passing you in their autonomous crossover.
That's kind of what I mean though. Is like you.
See ya.
I'm banging the limiter in second, looking for traction, just
Yeah.
hanging it up sideways.
That's what I mean. It's like you're driving it closer to its limit, and that's
Yeah.
how like I said earlier. Like I'm
We
really happy-
already established that they prefer a slow car fast, Ryan.
I want fast car fast. Don't get me wrong, but if I have to
Whoa!
choose,
You sound like Tyler Christopherson right now.
Yeah.
Do you need to leave, sir?
you don't like fast.
Shall I get the bagpipes?
What if I got more fast?
Slow car fast.
Yeah, I
You should
agree.
get the bagpipes unless you've come up with something that you learned this week, sir.
I don't know if I learned anything, but SpaceX launched
Okay.
the Dragon capsule.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's something. That's
Launched
cool.
at like 2 a.m. this morning.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Sweet.
With the dummy.
With the dummy in there, and they had like some stuffed animal thing in the seat. It was great.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah,
That
Was it
company
like
is just a troll.
was it
wearing a
like
Tesla
Elon
shirt.
Musk's like childhood
It was like a little like planet freaking stuffed animal. It was great.
How many dead hookers
If
were
I-
in this one?
Lord knows I am.
if I if I was Elon Musk and I was launching that, I got this like stuffed like Hollywood Hulk. No, it wasn't Hollywood. It was actual Hulkmania Hulk Hogan. Like from when I was like a kid, it was my first stuffed animal I ever got. I would be putting that in the spaceship and sending
You
up
had a
into orbit.
peculiar childhood, my man.
Yeah, dude.
Was it
It
like
was
the
awesome.
Stretch Armstrong style?
No,
like,
it's the one where
break the bones.
he's like this, and you're supposed to like wrestle around with him. It's awesome. I love it. I love that guy. He's
It's
great.
It's
Just
an
wanna walk
anime
around
style
like this
body
now.
pillow before those were a thing.
It kind of is like for a
There's
baby. Yeah.
steroid using beach blonde dude. Okay. Everybody's got their kinks, don't?
It all makes sense now.
Well,
Don't
maybe
yuck
to you.
my
I
yum.
don't know.
I was like always like really excited about wrestling when I was a kid. Like grew up in the '90s, so of course I was. 'cause it was,
Undertaker, man.
Yeah,
was-
Undertaker.
yeah.
You got Hollywood. You got Hulk Hogan. You got the Nature Boy Ric Flair, whose birthday was over the week. So his birthday was on Tuesday.
Oh.
Yeah, so happy
I
birthday!
learned that.
Happy birthday, Ric Flair!
The Nature Boy.
It's the
I
Nature
just
Boy.
don't care about this at all.
I think on that note, we shall get the bagpipes.
Thanks everyone for listening. Thank you two for being on.
Hey, thanks for having
And-
us.
Yeah, thank you.
We will catch you guys later in the week.